I had no savings, I had no security, and I went another 3, 4 months without getting paid.
Yo, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Chris Silva. On this channel, I want to bring you along our journey on the way to $1 billion worth of real estate. And at the same time, I want to teach you and show you all the value I can on my journey and how you can go out there and start your journey in the real estate world. Now, this video specifically here is somebody that you don't see quite often on my channel, or probably you might not see him all the time, but actually Ben has been my business partner since back then. And on top of that, he's actually been one of my best friends for the past 17 years. So we've had a very, very close relationship. And in this video, he actually shares some of his stories. And I want you to really understand who I am. So in order to understand who I am, you got to understand the people that I'm around. So check it out, listen to Ben's story, and comment down below what kind of questions you might have for Ben or what you would like to know more of from Ben, and let us know what you think. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you gain some value. Let's jump right into it.
I was there for like 8 months, and then it was the one right there off of the gateway, the one right next to Lowe's. So I would always go to work, and then I would always see like Lowe's across, and then I would like see people on the forklifts and like on the back area. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like it would probably be cool working there. And then I got tired of the movies. It was just like, well, I was just dumb, you know? So I was like, I want to do something else. So that's when I applied at Lowe's, because I just saw them working. I applied at Lowe's. I got hired there. I got hired as a cart pusher. I was pushing carts. I was pushing carts in the parking lot. And then I don't know, for myself, I think I was 17. I had turned 17 already. I was just, I'm going to be the best cart pusher that Lowe's has ever had. And it was crazy because one of the store managers at the time, his name was Brian. I mean, we're still friends to this day. And he actually told me, he's like, you know, you're the best cart pusher that I've had. I got him. And I was like, well, to be honest, you know, that's what I was striving for. And then it was actually a seasonal job. It was like during the winter, it was a seasonal job. So in February, they started letting people go. And then as they were letting people go, they were going down the list. And I was like, I kind of like towards the end, they're letting like seasonal cashiers go, seasonal employees go. And then I'm like, I started questioning him, like, are you guys going to let me go? Like, do I need to like work on something else? Do I need to learn something else? Like, are you guys hiring for a different department? And then I spoke with Brian, and then he was like, no, like, I'm thinking of moving you up to a cashier or to be in a department. And I just kept telling him, I want to be in a department, give me my own department, give me my own department. And then moving over to a cashier, and then I was a cashier for like 6 or 8 months. And I talked with Brian again, let him know. It's like, hey, can I get my own department? Can I like move to a department? He's like, you know what, I'm gonna give you a shot. I'm gonna move you to the plumbing department. So like at Lowe's, there's like a plumbing specialist. Then there's a department manager, and then there's a department specialist, or I forgot what they were. But he moved me to plumbing, so I became a plumbing specialist. Like my like pay started increasing over time. And then I became a department manager. And then so I just started moving up at Lowe's. So I was just like, at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm making decent money. I was happy. I was good. I was like, how can I make more money? Do I go to the next level? How can I make more money? And then I thought to myself, is like, I'm obviously doing something good, but I wanted to do more. I wanted to provide more. So I was like, I started thinking about community. It's like, how can I give back to my community? So I started thinking legal or law or like law enforcement. And then I applied for the police department. I was 18 at the time. And then I went through the whole process. I got hired at the downtown police department, and I did my services downtown. I was there for 2 years, and then I thought to myself again, you know, it's like, how can I do something else or do more? So they started talking about like communications, like for the police department. And I was like, well, like, do they need help like in communications? Like, yeah, like, well, it was funny because Chris heard it today, like the problems that they have like in the communications department. So I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. I'll apply. So I applied, got hired there. And then I ended up doing dispatch communications for the police department for 4 years. And then during that time while I was working at communications, it was when me, Chris, and one of our ex-partners, we were like all in communication. We were trying to start getting into real estate slowly. Chris had gotten his license while I was at the police department. And then Chris kept telling me, like, get your license, get your license, get your license. And while I was at dispatch, I was just, and it's crazy as it is already, like the hours that you work at dispatch, it's like 12 hours, 16 hour, 18 hour shifts. This girl was telling us that it's still like, I thought I need to get to the next level. I need to make more money. I need to buy my time back. So I started educating myself. I started taking my courses online. Like even if I was beat, like this guy would fall asleep on the couch because we lived together. And I have pictures of him on the couch on the computer, like falling asleep, taking his real estate test. Like he did it online. He's like all asleep and stuff. I would get home like after work, like after a 16-hour shift, we have another 8 hours to sleep. I was like, all right, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours, 3 hours to just keep learning, taking my test, whatever it was. Okay. I did it consistently for about 6 to 8 months, just working on my test. And a lot during that time, a lot of people would tell me, it's like, well, what are you studying for? Or what do you want to do? It's like, oh, I want to do real estate. I want to buy real estate. I want to help people in real estate. And the people that I was talking to be like, oh, well, you need to save up money. You need to have a cushion, like for anything that goes bad. Maybe you will get paid for 2 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever it was. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And I didn't listen. I didn't listen. So I took a leap of faith. And I quit my job at the police department. I had no savings. I had no security. And I went another 3-4 months without getting paid. But that didn't stop me. It's like, I know I need to make this work. If I made everything else work, I need to make this work. So I just pounding out the phone, calling people, trying to sell houses, trying to get listings here and there. And I got my first listing. It was with this gentleman. He used to be a general manager from Walmart. And then I called him and I was pitching. Like, we're the best in town. We can sell your property. We can do this. We stage, we do professional photography. Like, let me list it for you. And he's like, to be honest, I'm already talking with somebody with Century 21. And I was like, that was like a big company. And then I was like, okay. It's like, well, I mean, why don't you give us a shot? Like, just give us a shot. It's like, yeah, we might be fairly new. And then as soon as I told him that, he like cut me off. He's like, you know what? Just because he said that, I want to give you a shot. It's like, yeah, like I can go with Century 21. They can list my property and get it sold. But it's like, you sound hungry, you sound determined, you sound like you want to sell my house. So I'm going to give you a shot. And that same day he signed the listing agreement. We went to go stage the property, the one on Vicky Cart. Yeah, I remember. We went to go stage the property and it almost hit and didn't sell, remember? And it didn't sell. Sat on the market for like 2 months. And then he was like, hey, what's going on? Like, I gave you a shot and the property still hasn't sold. He was like, well, I think we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to start marketing it different. And we started doing the different marketing. And then we got more showings. And then I think it was on a weekend we had an open house and somebody submitted an offer. And then I called him and like, hey, we received an offer. We received an offer. He had no mortgage on it. And he was like, do you think that's the best that they can do? And for me, it was my first time like negotiating something like that. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I would probably take this if I were you, but I actually went back and I told the buyer, I was like, hey, is this your best and final offer? And they actually went up on the offer. So I went back to the seller. I was like, hey, I was able to get you $10,000 more. And then that's when he was like, I knew it. And he's like, I knew it. Like, I felt it in my heart that you were going to get it sold. Plus he got me $10,000 more. He's like, I want to make sure that I'm going to take care of you for whatever it is. He ended up giving us another listing from his daughter. She was selling her house, but I just took the leap of faith and it took 4-6 months without getting paid, but I did it. And ever since then. And then what happened after that? After that, we're here today. And then from one day to another. But it was a slow compound effect because it was just doing it all. The transition from a real estate agent to where we're at right now was like definitely hard as well too.
Well, I mean, you do your own thing. So it was better.
Really great time. This is the best thing ever.
Why?
My time, because it's like I control my own time. Instead of working for somebody to trade my time for money. Now I'm just trading my money for time. Like today's a perfect example. It's like we've had that property for 3 years, but it's like I didn't have to work for that property, or I didn't have to do anything to the property, but it's like I was able to get my time back instead of trading my time for money.
I think the biggest thing is like having a boss. Like your clients become your fucking boss. Like, oh, I gotta show this, gotta do that, and just still as an agent, you were capped. And I think for us, once we learned how money works, like you're looking at these terms like, oh my gosh, they're fucking bad. And
You're gonna use it for what you need. And I know you can make it for what you need, and it's being smart about how you're working it. Like to turn stuff.
And see, I'm the same way. Like it's just like, but what I've learned is just going all in, like burn the ship on everything. And it's like now, like this house, we bought it with $0 out of our pocket. We borrowed $40,000 at 10% to close. Our private money lender backed out 2 days before closing. We had to go to war. It was the worst day of our life. We're like, we need to get this house because we had an appraisal on it. It came back at 380. We had it for a contract at 307. And we're just like, we have to, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And we found the money. They lent it to us. It was our first time like raising real capital. We're like, oh shit. And we got it. And now like being able to be paying our investors, and like now we're gonna give them back their money, and it's just like 40 grand, and then we're still up on top. And it's just like, now we're still gonna create cash flow on it. We're still gonna take this money. We're buying a mobile home park right now. So like that's gonna go into that. And then it's just like, but the compound effect of like the ups and downs, like just thinking of Ben's story. Like I remember the days of fucking him at communication, like no sleep. And he'd come in the kitchen working 2 jobs. Like we was working real estate and communication. We would call. And it was just like this vision that we saw. And then that business partner ended up screwing us over. He told us, Ben had an idea of creating Airbnb. And so the house we lived in together, it was his. So we turned it into an Airbnb. His mom had 6 houses. And we told him, like, tell your mom to rent it out to us. Tell your mom, like, so we turn Airbnbs. And his mom would always tell him, like, well, why do you need them? Like, why do you need them? You could do it on your own. And so he told us separately, but he told us we weren't good enough. He said, you guys aren't good enough to be real estate agents and do Airbnb. Like, you guys got to focus on one thing. And at that point, we had to grab our balls and literally decide, all right, are we going to let this guy say we're not good enough, or are we going to go do our own thing? And so we pulled the trigger, and then we figured out, we got one Airbnb, got the next Airbnb, and then all of a sudden it was just like, all right, we can't be doing real estate agents forever. I told Ben, there's a way to make more money in real estate, bro. Like, look, watch this YouTube video. And then we just started learning and like slaving, like days in, days out on the computer, just learning, risk after risk after risk. Like every fucking penny we had, scraping pennies to look for food, like McDonald's and everywhere. There was this one time, my McDonald's story, I love that, is I only had $2 and I had to decide McChicken and sweet tea or 2 McChickens. And I decided to go with the McChicken and sweet tea because I love sweet tea. And I remember I didn't have money. I had to decide whether to eat or not, and decided sweet tea and McChicken. And that was the last day I ever had McDonald's. And I haven't had McDonald's for the past, I would say 4 years. You don't have to. Just compound effect, but like just stacking and stacking and stacking. It's like
we were committed, and I think we were just committed to each other, and like knowing that we can build something. And then those were the exact words that we told each other.
Because you guys have the same, you also have the same goal. Like
goals are so important.
And
who's the most conservative of the two of you?
we
Although it's the first time I've seen him right. What? Yeah.
remember, it's like
He's the most conservative, but I see this one is right. Right, but he's starting. He's like, wait, hold, what? Yeah.
This is it. Let's fucking go. Oh shit.
to remember like so vividly.
But you know what? I think the biggest thing now, even in our time, and it's just this year it's happening to us, I think both of us have gotten closer to God. Like we were missing our faith, and that's what I tell him. Like, since I've gotten closer to God, like I just feel like it aligns. Like we were started taking care of our health, our relationships. We were always big on relationships, like never burn bridges or anything. And it was just, it was always like, oh, hard work got us here. And like, since we go to church every weekend now, and like, since we've gotten closer to God, it's just so much more. Yeah.
And it's kind of wild when you do. So you see how like all this kind of
It's
it's happening to us right now. And since we're good,
Me right now.
I love that for you.
And that it's happening to me right now because I went through a divorce. So I went through a cut. So and I have to take, and you're in college, right? So for me, I had to figure out a way.
There was something missing.
Well, it's not just that. So I'm supposed to be getting some support from him because he owes me some money back, right? So it's like, all right, you can go into this two ways. Either you can be dependent, or you can say, I'm going to figure
This shit out.
on my own, so that I cut that person out of my life because it's toxic, right? Even though that he's the dad and everything, to me, he's not a good person to have in my life. And I need to let that go. And I said, God, I need you to take him out of my life. And I asked just that. And then I said, I need to give this to you, and I need to let it go. And I need to provide without having to ask for one cent, not just for myself, but for my kids. Even though he's obligated to do these, I still pay him. Yeah. Like, please I'm giving this to you because it's bigger than me, and I can't hold it anymore. And the weight, if I stop, the weight feels too heavy. So I need to keep going. And so I finally said, God, I'm giving this to you. I can't hold this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And he said, here, and take this person out of my life. And I gave it. And it's like, okay, boom, pay all your things you need to pay. I didn't have to ask for not one penny. And I do it every single month without fail. And then I'll look at something and I'm like, oh, I have an extra, something happened. And dang, if there isn't, like, it's like there's pennies falling from heaven. And I appreciate that because something will happen where it's like, oh, wow, you're going to get paid on this. And you're like,
Okay,
where did that come from? Yeah, where did that come from? And that's like, whoa, I needed that at that time. So it's giving it, seeing his glory and seeing all the things that happen. Because money, we always can make it, right?
always money comes. Money's the extra.
Yeah.
Money's the extra.
Yeah.
The tool.
So you give it, so I gave it, and I was just like, listen, I'm still gonna work hard because I'm a vessel. I am somebody that's gonna work, and I'm gonna put this forward, and I'm gonna keep continuing to push forward, and I'm going to do everything in your name, and I'm gonna give it to you, and I know you're gonna provide. I'm not gonna sit back and let things just wobble. I'm going to use license.
Take control.
Right, and I have.
I love that for you.
And it's happening.
And think about it, it's because of your faith. And as long as you never lose faith, you have the faith and you believe, and then you just make a decision. And you made that decision. Divorce is a perfect example. Take him out of my life. You make the decision to not even depend on him for nothing. Then you took the action to continue to do what you do. And then all of a sudden, it just gives to you. And then guess what? There's gonna come another point in your life, same thing, where you have to have faith, you make the decision, the action, and then your success. You just do it all over. And all of a sudden, it just starts happening to you. And this is an example for us, same thing. People don't see the back end of this. And you just continue to give. And look at how God is blessing you every single day.
And it brings.
Every day we get another chance, another opportunity to become the best version of ourselves. And then guess what? Our kids are watching us. And now I bet you anything, your son's in town, he feels it. That energy is so real. And as long as you find happiness within yourself, then you're able to share with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's so awesome. Take care of the rest.
Right?
That's awesome.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Hey, I love that for you guys. It's awesome.
Thank you for sharing that. Powerful.
It's a lot, but it was. I got tears on my.
Yes.
And that is his story. People don't really realize this, but you probably have your own story that you should be sharing to the world, whether it be on social media, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or to even to the closest people to you, because your story can go out there and impact somebody's life without even knowing it. So stop being selfish, start sharing your story with others, and let's continue to bring positive change into this world. As you just saw, he didn't start off with anything, and the abundance and the gratefulness has allowed him to be in the position that he's at today, which makes him very important in my life, in my business, and in my heart as we continue to grow together. Let's grow, baby.